Greetings, comic fans, and welcome to another episode of Uncle Jay's Comic Adventure. It's an unboxing day. It doesn't get much better than that. So let's take some time, let's look at some modern tier CGC books that just came back. I want to start out with a beautiful book. I'm really excited about this one. Punisher Limited Series, number 1. It's a newsstand as well, in a 9.2. And I'm satisfied with that grade. I don't think it could have pushed much higher. I think 9.2 is very fair. It's got a little corner issue, and I think this was obviously something that was from the process of producing the book, because you can see the corner goes over a little bit. It wasn't a clean cut. But still, it's a great looking book. I'm just super excited about it. The cover is awesome. First solo Punisher series. Cover by Mike Zeck. Came out in 1986. Beautiful book. And again, it's also a newsstand. Okay. And where do we go from there? How about another Punisher number 1? 9.0, really close. Direct edition. This one looks great as well. Wasn't sure which one would come back higher. They're really, really close in grade, but I'm tickled that the newsstand came back a little higher. I would always prefer the newsstand for anything like mid-80s to 90s, because those are so much more rare. Although I actually like the look of the direct edition better with the Spidey face on there, whether it's the black suit Spidey face or the regular Spidey face. And then by the 1990s, they came up with some pretty clever little pieces of art that they threw in there on the UPC symbol spot. This book is a surprise to me. I really can't understand. I look at it, even looking at the grader notes, I can't really understand what would make this book a 3.5. I would have expected somewhat of a mid-grade for this book. I have some other copies, but I would not have sent it in if I knew it was going to come back at 3.5. On the other hand, I would say I'm probably going to sell this book. It will be an incredible bargain for somebody else. I wouldn't doubt if you didn't take it out of the case that it might grade and send it back in. It might grade a little higher, because I just don't see how this is a 3.0. I see 3.0s all the time, and this one does not look like a 3.0 to me. The grader notes to me don't say 3.0. You can see it's a pretty decent mid-grade copy, in my opinion, of First Venom, Amazing Spider-Man 299. Again, not a super clean copy, but I didn't expect it to be, but it presents well. There's a little tanning. That might be part of it. There are a few spine bends right here. But that's to be expected with a mid-grade book. Again, I think 3.0 is pretty harsh for this one. It doesn't look like the staples are detached or anything there, and in the back has a bend, but still, I think this is a pretty harsh grade right here. It happens. I've had some batches that came back that I was much less happy with the grades. I think these are, in general, reasonable. There may be something I'm not catching about that book. This one came back pretty nice. This is a 9.4. And again, I mean, that one doesn't look as nice as this one, but it sure looks a lot nicer than a 3.0 to me. This one is a 9.4. That looks fair. The corners are really, really good. I got a little corner issue down here. Probably keeps it out of that 9.6, 9.8 territory. But other than that, it's a really sharp, nice presenting copy. The whites are really white. The colors are really bright. Good looking copy of Amazing Spider-Man 299. Here's one of my favorite X-Men books. I've owned several of these. I actually have a 9.8 in my collection, but I like this one. This is a 9.0, 266. And actually, I will say, it's kind of nice. It didn't cut off at least the entire, or any actual parts of the word. I've seen a lot of miscuts on this particular book up there at the top. I once owned a 9.8 even that had a pretty significant miscut up here, but it was still a 9.8. It was a printer error, obviously, and it was widespread. But I see that on other X-Men books from that time period, like 283, something like that. Okay. Yeah, it looks like a 9.0. Got a few little corner issues, but it displays really well. Just an awesome Gambit cover. Some would say the first appearance of Gambit. Some would say the first full appearance of Gambit. Either way, it's a major key. I'm just tickled to death to have it, really. Now this book right here, obviously I would have liked to have gained a higher grade with it. And you might say, why would you send it in at a 6.5? Well, I'll show you why I would send this one in at 6.5. This is a 6.5, yes. But it's also the ultra rare Canadian variant. And honestly, I've owned a lot of this particular book in the past. I've never had the Canadian variant before, and I see very few of them. They're pretty rare. I did a video a while back talking about the number ones, and it was really about the second print, but also I talked about the Canadian variants, and those are also quite rare. On the census, there's more than there are number ones in the second print, but it's still a very, very rare book, and I would say you'd find the same thing with these number 8s. They're pretty scarce. Again, it's the $1 price variant from Canada. 6.5. Still a good book. And it actually displays really, really well. Now, if you want a cleaner copy, here's a 9.4. This one looks really, really good as well. This one's white pages. But again, this is the standard direct edition with the Spider-Man face where he's wearing the black suit. Nice book. Really do like the cover. Again, just amazing. Mike Zeck art. He was incredible in those days. I imagine he still is. Don't get a lot of DC books, but this is one I've wanted for a long time. I do have a little higher grade one already. I have a 9.4, but I got a couple of these in here. They're super nice. Here's an 8.5 of Tales of the Teen Titans number 44. First appearance of Nightwing. Hopefully you know who Nightwing is. If not, I'll tell you, he's the original Robin when he grew up. And at times didn't get along with Batman as well. Again, number 44 of Tales of the Teen Titans. That book's from 1984. That's an 8.5. I also have a 9.2 copy of this as well in here. A little cleaner. And this is a newsstand. That's nice. 9.2 white pages from 1984. First appearance of Nightwing. Interesting colors. Kind of hard, most people would say, to get really, really clean copies of a book with black or lots of black along the edges because the spine wear shows. If you get a little spine tick, it's just going to stand out. But it's interesting. I actually did send in some black books. I know there are a lot of these out here, but ones with lots of black. I'm talking about this particular variant, the silver foil variant of Spider-Man number 1 that came out in 1990, the McFarlane, famous McFarlane cover. And these all came back 9.8, so I'm just tickled to death. That was just such an amazing cover. And when that book came out, I can't remember ever being more excited about a new comic book release than that particular book. I know sometimes people talk about what was overprinted. It was, and maybe it was overhyped, but still, it was just an amazing thing, and I really enjoyed the artwork. So I'm tickled to have these. They've been in my collection ever since they came out, and finally got some of these sent in. I also sent a bunch of the standard cover in a different batch, so hopefully those will be back soon. Again, these are all 9.8 white pages. I want to say there was 3 or 4 of those in here. There's 3 white pages, 9.8, McFarlane Spidey. And let's see if it was 4. Yep, it was 4. One more copy. McFarlane Spidey, 9.8. White pages. I actually like it. I think I thought I had more copies than this, but I've only been able to find one recently. I actually like the gold foil version better, which was the second print, and it's probably a little rarer than these two. And I think it just really looks great. The red really pops out really well on the gold foil cover. Here's a book I've had before. This is this is a 9.4. First appearance of Deadpool. And we're talking about New Mutants number 98 from 1991. Very famous Rob Liefeld cover. I can honestly say I was never particularly into the... well, I quit collecting there for a long time when Deadpool came out, so I really didn't know the character till recently. So this started about the time I bought all the X-Force and so forth, but I stopped collecting for a good bit of time after 1994. I was a teenager and got really busy with many different things, as a lot of us did. Came back to it many years later. So I really didn't know much about the Deadpool side of things. I did really, as I say, get excited about the Liefeld art at that point. I knew Cable more, and I really liked Cable. But that was just about the end phase of my collecting in those days. This is a book that came out after I stopped collecting that time. And I actually have a couple of copies of this now. Batman, The Long Halloween. And I'm really pleased with this grade. A 9.0 is pretty decent, and just a great book to have. Anyway, that's it for today, folks. I had a great time. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe so you can see more content like this regularly. And communicate with me. Shoot me a message. Put a little comment down here below the video. Let me know what you enjoyed seeing or what you're collecting these days, or just say hello. I love to hear from you, and I will try to respond as quick as I can. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you on the next video.